The miseducation of the Negro in 1933. In 1933, think about how far away that is. Like, goodness gracious. And when we talk about it, oh, look at you, Miss Davis. Hi, all back to you. I got to make sure you do panelists and attendees so everybody can see you say hi all. But Miss Hayes and Miss Davis said hi all. 1933. Nobody in here was born in 1933. Let me check. Before 1933, right? No, no, no. What a blessing to have like your work to be shown. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen with Kenneth Jones' work. That's what's gonna happen with Mr. Walton's work. That's what's gonna happen with Ms. Cotman's book. You know, that's what's gonna happen with the things that we're doing. That's what's gonna happen. Like, people are gonna be talking to you, talking about you all these years because of the commitment that you have made. I want to share something. I want to share something else with you. This is a member of AfroEconomics that was featured today in the news, and it brought me to tears. You're going to see it and you're going to be like, why did you cry? That's a very happy thing. But I don't know, it just brought me to tears. In the one of his last statements like were amazing to me. So I just want y'all to see this so that you can share in it, the amazement. A second. How you doing, Miss Elliott? Here we go. Thank you for sharing your evening with me. I am J.B. Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer of J.B. Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics. And I am committed to your financial success. I want to show some exciting stuff. I'm going to open up the microphone for some members because we need to have an amen choir. I want to hear and I want to feel some applause as we go. All right, Mr. Jones, I don't know why it won't let me open up your mic. We got two Larrys. We have at least three Larrys that are members. So I'm gonna open up both of y'all microphones indeed. And this is because I want y'all to see something I'm going to share with you. And I want to feel the love afterwards. And then I'm gonna get your microphones. Make sure you mute it. After I open up your mic, mute your mic so that you'll be good. How's King Hollis doing tonight? I can't skip. I start skipping around, I mess up.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, great. Good to hear your voice. Thank you. Thank you for being a leader. So I can know that you have sound. How you doing, Ms. Walton? Can I hear your voice?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes. Thank you. We're going to do a tribute to your mane. Beside every good man, there's an even better woman. You let them live. You let them live this long. Check this out, y'all.
Art is how you see it, how you feel it, and how you taste it. It's magical. Hi, I'm Ron Walton, and welcome to my gallery in Petersburg, Virginia. And hope you appreciate
That's nice.
what I have to say.
We're gonna go, babe.
My day in art is 24/7. Now I'm painting all the time. And we're in New York, I have a nice size studio, but nothing like this here would allow me to do 8-foot, 9-foot paintings. I'm in Petersburg and I'm still selling artwork to major clients. My grandfather and my family, they bought me an easel when I was around 7, 8 years old. Just the creativeness just started to roll in. It's like something that was born in me. That was one thing. And then seeing Miles Davis was another. You can see the colors in music. You can see the highs and lows. It's a reflection on how I see it in my work. To create be creative, you have to have your own style. And one of the styles that I created for myself and coined the name is real cubistic style, which is isometrical forms or spear-like forms to form a human figure. Now I develop it into collages. Your imagination grows big, you know. The problem with that growing big is that you got to be able to put something in it. I'm not trying to hit the canvas raw. I'm trying to hit the canvas with some facts. I always try to put things in my paper that people can relate to, whether it's hidden or not hidden. I want to try to capture the imagination because from a distance, you really just look like an abstract painting. But when you get up close and you say, wow, look at this here. I didn't see this before. Everything on the canvas means something. You know, whether it's a dot, you know, you say, why is that dot there? Because that dot there could draw your attention to something else on it. I started working with tissue, but put tissue paper to add another. I'm always looking for that edge. I usually say my work is like in 3 dimensions. And if I can find a 4th dimension, or if I can find another color, I would use it. Everything gets deep. You know, you can get real, real deep, and it's like into your soul. When people see your work, they can tell what it's all about and how expressive and how deep you can get into it. That's why I have to thank my family for allowing me to be expressive, you know, and just do this every day. But my son, he really like pushes me over the edge, and it's not a day that goes by that he challenges me. You know, I'm always the biggest hater for you. See, that's how I mean. You can be anywhere and be an artist. Artists have studios all over the world. Being in Petersburg is beautiful. I love it. It's about communication. It's about having people who believe in you, work for you, and pushing you. Art is like heaven. I haven't been there, but I can imagine being on the cloud. And if you do it right, it'll show right.
Amazing, right?
That's awesome.
That's how I remember. That's how I remember. That's how I remember. Can you see that why I started crying? I was like, oh. He said, well, you do it right, you know, it shows right. Live right. Oh, yes. Yes, Ms. Howard said a Black history lesson. Yes, yes, it was. Oh, my goodness. You know, and Carter G. Woodson writes in his books about how historically we have been kept out of the arts. He writes in the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, that we have, you know, that is typical. And then for me to be talking about Carter G. Woodson and his desire for us to be, you know, to be included in the arts, and then for me to see that, you know, that was today, you know, that is not by accident. Like, it just lets me know that everything happens for a reason. It was, that was shown on CBS today. So that's so great. Thank you so much, Mr. Walton and Mrs. Walton, for
You're welcome.
big parts of AfroEconomics, and the we appreciate you. So I see, like, you made the pennant that I'm going to give you Jenny's address. You know,
Yes.
neither one of our members of the year have benefited from me getting married this weekend, because I have not sent out their trophies to their house yet either. So we're gonna get your, so there's artists in your whole family. Look, yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. I see King Hollis, that he didn't give up one of them big paintings for you. Great, big.
He's upstairs now.
Look, he would have, but it would just be, shipping would be hard, you know. I'm struggling with the shipping on the trophies, but I did get a call back, and they did tell me that they will ship them directly to your house. But at this point, I could have shipped them to myself. But my delay was, I want to talk to them and see if they'll just ship them direct instead of coming to me and then go and knock out. Oh, COVID. Let's talk about the miseducation of the Negro.
Before we go, I want him to meet my grandson. He's an artist that studied in Europe. He gotta meet Torrance.
So Torrance gotta meet him, huh? Torrance needs
exactly.
to,
You
Torrance needs to
flip
meet
it
him.
around. Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Amen.
I was gonna make that happen. You're right.
Amen. Amen. And they have
Yeah.
the gallery, of course, isn't open right now, but it's generally open, and
I want Terrence to meet him. I really do.
that's so
Okay.
good. Well, tell Torrance he should join AfroEconomics because that's the kind of stuff we
I was
accept.
just thinking that.
I don't know, just you know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's what we do, right there.
We
That's
do.
right. Tell him, that's what we do.
I'm still trying to backtrack to see if I heard you say got married this weekend. I'm on delayed reaction.
Oh yeah, I was just joking. Nah, Michael's like, no, she did not. No, next weekend, the 13th is our day.
Oh, nice.
The
I'm like,
weather.
wait a minute.
Valentine's wedding.
So what happened?
Oh, how sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
You will
excited.
not be working.
I'll be working. I'll
No,
be
you
checking
will
in.
not be
I'm
working.
working.
No.
I'm joking. No,
Congratulations, JB. I'm so happy for
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. And it's just a blessing to be able to build and be like the Waltons when you grow up. They were hugging today. We had a meeting today. They were hugging. I said, look at that, Black love.
That's right.
If we get lucky, maybe they'll be on the panel for the fest. We need that. We need to see it. You know what I'm saying? We need to see it. Yeah, it's so good. It is possible.
You
And-
have to talk to Ron.
right? And tomorrow is promised to no one. So I want all of y'all couples to prepare for a phone call. I want a huge display of Black love for our Black love panel. And this year it's members only. So know that if you talk and you share and you help us, it will be in the house. And y'all know who I am. Nobody, you know how I am. Nobody gets in unless I know who they are. So you better be ready to make sure you update your Zoom to have your name on it. And it's only because in our membership stuff, I just want us to be able to share and know who you're sharing it with. Even myself, I share a part of me that it's not a Wednesday, not normally shared on Wednesday nights. So definitely that so we're taking that into the fest this year, knowing that we still have the introductory membership. So I'm saying it's available to everyone, but you just need to share, your information with us so that you can participate. But like Carter G. Woodson would say, we cannot make a difference unless we unite for a vision and have a common vision, which I'll bring up, tonight. Like the Woodson talked about Black people having an economic commitment and a social change commitment. Even though the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, was written for, let me see if I can bring up, I don't know if any of this has tonight's topic, doesn't, but in the invitation, you all saw the book cover. And I'll share that on the screen again when we come back, but so that you can actually get the book if you're excited about it, have it, and then it's like in a box. So I just said, but I have the book and it has several different covers. I have the cover with the girl with the afro and the brain block and the lock on her brain. But it really changed my life and my perspective on things, his economic perspective in the book. And he started talking about, as we graduate and when we get out of college and our desire to not be in business and our desire to not have a sales job and our desire to feel that your accomplishment of getting a degree was to, avoid your community and to make sure you had a job that limited your income potential. Now, that's basically what he said, because we didn't want to get into anything that was required your effort, like my jobs I've always had, that you have to, you don't have a limit because it's based on your effort and your work and your commitment to serving others. So the Miseducation of the Negro is one of the most important books on education, but in my opinion, on education and on Afroeconomics from the perspective of Black wealth. So Carter G. Woodson shows in the book that, you know, the white-based academic curriculums fail to include Black history and our culture into the curriculum. So the curriculum miseducates the Black student, failing to prepare them for success. And it fails to prepare us, to give us a adequate confidence that we are within a system that we can thrive in. Carter G. Woodson in the book also just says, you know, these things are wrong, but these are our solutions. He gives us, you know, solutions because of his commitment to bettering Black life. And he wrote this book in 1933. So I want to go over some key points that in 1933, how they're still applicable today, even more applicable, even in what is considered contemporary America. The schools and the colleges are still substantially, culturally, and socially irrelevant to the needs of our Black young people. Can y'all feel me on that?
Debbie, I have a question.
Yes.
This isn't to throw any type of pun to educators, but why do you think the educators, if they know that this has been going on, haven't like what's the word I'm looking for, challenged it? And I'm not saying they
That's
haven't,
right.
but not in a way that it made a wave that it
Did
hit
something,
the
yo.
when it
Yep.
hit the community, and it's like we stood up to, I mean, how did it go on for so many years with so many people of color in the
Yeah.
educational system?
Yeah, that's what he talks about in 1933. The
And
why
I'm talking about
are,
now.
yeah, he said, why are y'all going to school, coming back, and becoming part of the problem? You know, and hey, if he couldn't solve it in 1933, you know how ingrained it is now when we've got 3-4 generations later? So he talks about how we feel out of place and are socialized to despise ourselves in the current educational system. And do you know the high numbers of Black depression in teenagers, of Black depression, of Blacks that are in white environments all day, or in this, you know, and they're talking specifically in the research about Black young people that are in majority white environments in their education. Now, and the fact that he says this like really hits home for me, because I saw it in my daughter's academic experience, and it was nothing like mine. I went to a Black high school, majority Black high school. She went to a majority white high school. So when I was in a majority Black high school, even though I had some negative experiences where a teacher would tell me, you're not going to be anything, the overwhelming majority of teachers were embracing me and taught me that I had a bigger responsibility. They allowed me to be a leader. They allowed me to, you know, when they said, oh, wow, you speak well, they started letting me do announcements, allowing me to do plays, giving my name to the drama instructor and stuff like that. Like you know, but my daughter did not have any of those opportunities, even when she was extreme as a cellist. And this is what Carter G. Woodson talks about. There was nobody who said, this is great. You are the first chair Black cellist that we've had all county, you know? No. You know, one time she wasn't even in that program, but they had no cellist in middle school. But she was so advanced that I wouldn't allow her to do it. I asked her to learn another instrument, so she learned percussion. But the teacher knew, she also knew that she played the cello, because she had seen her in a summer camp that she was an instructor at. And then she asked me, can your daughter come into my class and just basically help me, you know? And I said, no, And she was mad because I said, no, but the county wasn't gonna pay my daughter to help her teach other cello students. So I said, my daughter is gonna learn an additional instrument. But she needed her, and I told her, if you need her, let us know, blah, blah, blah. But she never acknowledged it and said, I want to thank this, child for, because she's not even in. She had to do extra work and learn our music and come to my class in addition to her own class so she could practice with us and things like that we did. They don't do it. And that is what Carter G. Woodson was talking about. So her interest really in her cello is very small, even though she is an extremely good player that has played since 5 years old. But it's because she was not encouraged by that system, that education system that knew that she was a standout, but they said, we'll make sure that she doesn't get any farther. And there was never any encouragement to help. And she would not have gotten that far if I hadn't paid extra for private lessons. So what I worry about is, what if the parent doesn't want to sacrifice everything and buy all these private lessons? Why can't our children get the same benefits, the same support, that they deserve from this public system that you're paying taxes in to support?
Because when your child is in a white school, your child is actually invisible.
Exactly.
I don't care how talented
That's
your
right.
child is. I've seen it with my grandchildren.
Yep.
Your child is invisible.
That's right. That's right. And the only way they become visible is they have to do a very good job at assimilating, for most of them. You don't go in there with, a mother who is publicly known for standing up for her community. You don't go in there having, nappy hair and wearing your braids. You don't go in there. If you go in there identifying who you are, you have to deal with the consequences, which is what she had to deal with. They had Googled me 1,000 times. They knew who I was, so every time I come in there, you know what I'm saying? They're already going to have their guard up. So what Carter G. Woodson calls the good Negro, you had to become a good Negro in order to become successful. And that ideology, Carter G. Woodson says, urges us to downplay our Blackness in order to advance in the social ladder by being educated and moving up in the social ladder does not, but we have to learn, he's saying, that being educated and moving up the social ladder does not eliminate one's Blackness. So, and I think that that's key, that we do have, and I know that you all that work in corporate America, I know that I worked in corporate America, like, it doesn't matter how stacked your resume is, you still find out what a glass ceiling feels like. And I found that out real quick. And that's how I started my business. I was like, there's no way I'm going to prosper in an environment that could care less, that I get ahead, that I help these people. I would go in and say, this isn't right. They made a mistake on that Black person's account, and it's like, you're shunned and put down. You have nothing to do with this. You're supposed to be a part of that community, not of your own community anymore, because you're in here now. And then Carter G. Woodson argues that our desire to downplay our Blackness could be avoided if we had been educated correctly about and given the equal opportunity to learn about our own culture and our own Black history. And out of this doubt of ourselves, and because of not understanding your Blackness and playing down your very core of who you are, it slows down your success, your true success. Your desire to be an entrepreneur is thrown away because your view of that community or your potential customers is so negative. I've told you all about being told by other Black people that don't go to this business, and it's like Black people who were ahead of me in business. They were like, no, you can't focus on Black people. You can't help us. We don't have any money. Who got in their head and convinced them of that? You know, the education system that they are in and were in. Now you're grown and you're saying, people are saying that to their children. So he goes on in chapter 2. Now that chapter 1 is called The Seat of the Trouble. And he's saying that the core of it, you know, the bottom, the core of our trouble is that when you're taught to not appreciate your Blackness, it pulls away from your success. That's chapter 1. So our income is being hurt because of the lack of confidence in your own ability, and that you've been socialized to believe that. You haven't been socialized to realize that with you, there would be no America. We're not taught that. So in chapter 2, he says, it's called How We Miss the Mark. And it continues to say that the educational system failed to support Blacks because of how their schools were unable to properly teach them when compared to predominantly white schools that were fully furnished and had the means to give their students the right education. He believed that Blacks get different means of education to develop and show their individual skills than to be educated in this practical system. And I believe that that is applicable today. Does anybody else see that? That our kids are thriving. Many Black people, especially Black males, are not thriving in the current situation. So there's, you know, put them in special needs classes and, you know, saying that they have disciplinary problems, but they're not looking at what are we doing wrong. They're just focusing on medicating the child and holding the child down, and the child must have a problem, you know, but not being accountable to themselves. I was in a class the other night, and I was like, how do we, you know, a lady was talking about how people don't deal well with change. And I said, so when you're managing them, you make sure that you push the change on them. You keep telling them about the change. You keep making them do the change. But if it doesn't work, then maybe the young man knows more than what you know. Maybe the employee knows more than what you know. But we never look at, well, what would work for you? Prefer to do right now. And then we might actually get a system that actually works for young Black males. There's 2 that did great, you know? So we're taught to, if these 2 can do great, why does this 200 that did harm, why does that matter? Like the other day on the Carl Nelson show, I was talking about over 80,000 Black women lost a job in December. Kamala got one job. She got one. One position was filled while over 80,000 like her lost jobs.
Wow.
We are too much. That's it's crazy. What's that? We missing the mark. We're missing the mark. So, and then he says in chapter 3 that how we have drifted away from the truth. Blacks have separated from the truth of their actual contributions to history because history is being whitewashed. And I talked about that on Sunday, about how, you know, we know Jesus wasn't white. So I was showing a Good Times episode where Florida Evans in Good Times, that Michael took down the Jesus and put up a Black Jesus that JJ had drawn, and all these good things started happening to the family. But the brother wrote, and the Bible is Black history. You know, the Dr. Williams, Theron Williams, he says, even though everything started going better for the Evans, Florida was not happy until they put that white Jesus back on that wall. Even though, you know what I'm saying? King, I was like, they started making money. They were going to get out the projects and everything. You know, she just could not rest. She could not rest. Oh my goodness. You know, and that was 40 years after this book was written. And it continues. There are Black people that say today that say, what does it matter what color he is? That's what you need to ask the person who drew him white, who knew he wasn't. Don't ask me. He analyzed, right? Right? Please ask me. Don't ask me. You should ask them. You know what I'm saying? This is a lie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think my mom still has a white Jesus in the house.
It's like united we stand, divided we fall, and we don't stand at the same time. You might have two here, then those two will get tired, and then another 2 years of one to come up, and that one will get tired. But we have to stand together when we know it's the truth. United we stand, divided we fall.
And he talked about that, having a common vision, and that, you know, that it's truly, truly, truly sad. You know, that I believe that white people are going to do a movement and tell you all how silly we are for acknowledging a white Jesus. They're going to do it. Because I already read some articles over the weekend, and a white minister was like, Jesus was not white, okay? To his people, get over it. He was. Did you read an article by a Black guy? He says, Jesus, and he proves it, and he goes through all this research, and he says, yes, Jesus had Black lineage, and they said, well, was he, because he was a Mormon, he said, but was he Black? And the brother said, no. Now, how you gonna say somebody got Black lineage, but they weren't Black? Only because you have an all-white audience. I knew he was cornered. I was like, he probably was like, if I say yes, they're gonna kill me up in here. So he said no. He said Jesus has Black lineage, but
so we contribute to them being delusional.
Yes. Trying to what did he say? Because we're trying to be the good Negro, trying to move forward instead of being honest to your white brothers and sisters and let them know, hey, I know what you know, because they know it.
Exactly.
They know it. They read the Bible. They know it. They wondering why you doing it.
Right.
like this white girl asked me one time, she said, I just love your hair. She said, why do so many Black people process their hair? I said, I don't know. I don't even know. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It is hard to find a comb in the store that will comb my natural hair. She said, are you serious?
It's versatility. We like versatility. I can tell you that.
Friend, you know what I'm saying? But think about that. It is hard to go in the store to find. Now you can, but 20 years ago when I went natural, over 20 years ago now, it was hard to find a pick in the store. You can find anything to get through a natural head of hair. It's like everything was for straight hair. So, but that is where, like, we don't even empathize for our own selves. I remember one time going into a hair cuttery and I needed my hair on my fro just washed. Every Black stylist in there could not. They said, I cannot do natural hair.
That's why a lot of them go to hair cuttery.
And the white girl said, I'll do it for you, just wait. And the white girl did my fro. All you got to do with a fro is wash it.
Right.
And I walk out. That's it. That didn't make any sense to me. And I said, sis, seriously? She said, I can't even do my own hair. I had a great big nasty. Stop judging. Shut your mouth.
And then you got to look at the training too, because a lot of the training were white instructors. And what we got,
but I'm gonna tell you, that white girl knew how to do my hair.
And the Black people that did know how to do Black hair, we knew that from our family history. Right. It's not like we got that from the beauty school.
All of them trying to learn what you can do now. Now all of them want to do natural hair. You know what I'm saying? But we should have been there. That's what Carter G. Woodson is saying, that why did we sell out? You know what I mean? On our natural selves. because of how we've been socialized and our own history has been whitewashed. He said Black teachers are often not help in fixing the problem, as you said, Terry, as they continue to teach whitewashed versions of history to the future generations of students.
In 2021.
Today, he wrote this in 1930, but we're still doing it today.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah,
There's something wrong with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I don't care if that's on the SOL. If you're teaching the history and the history book is incomplete, you either quit, you know what I mean, or you bring in the truth.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Like this lady asked me to teach a class at HBCU, and she was a white department head, and I said I will teach it, but I have to bring in my book, AfroEconomics. I want the students to learn it. Now that's what people want. At any white school, they want teachers who have written. Yeah. They don't want teachers who haven't written. The school gets benefit for people writing and doing research. Do you know that lady told me no? She said, no, we don't let our teachers, and guess what I told her? No, I will not be teaching at your school. And my book can't come with me. Why would I waste a semester on $2,000? I told her, I said, I cannot. I said, I definitely can't do it for the money. I mean, $2,000 for the semester? You break that down, that's like less than minimum wage. So you gotta check grades and everything. So whoever's doing it, you know what I mean, obviously cares about the students. But you're saying, you know, I could see that if I didn't have write a book, but don't tell me that I can't. I said, you know what, I would rather just, I'll come in, you find somebody that needs the money, and I'll come in, you know, and just do a workshop for them. She was mad, like she was going around, you can tell on LinkedIn, she was looking at my LinkedIn and all this. Like, how dare she say no? You heard me. You heard me.
But see,
that's what we need more educators to do.
Yes, more people like that.
If you cannot bring the truth, you know what I mean, you're in the wrong environment.
Did you say that it was an HBCU?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That is crazy.
I'm not people going around begging to be adjunct and stuff like that. That's crazy.
You should be one of many. You should be one of many instead of always standing alone. You know what I mean? You should have a lot of soldiers behind you. And we all should be writing our books. That's what you talked about. We need to do more research on our own culture. Amen. We need to learn our culture, research our people, get in, you know what I mean, so that you can help. Yeah. So when you come in there, you know, we're not in the position, you know, but she asked me to come teach my people, but she didn't want them to learn about the Black economic experience. That makes no sense to me. I could have changed lives. I could have changed every student's life in there. Yeah. That was sad. So then he goes on to talk about like education under outside control. You know, that that African Americans are given educationally less valuable opportunities, despite whether the institution is historically Black or predominantly white. This is Carter G. Woodson. And it's still going on. Right? He encouraged us to create better opportunities in many aspects of our lives, to create better lives. No, he created this program to uplift the Negro in this country. The program must be based on a scientific study of the Negro from within to develop in him the power to do for himself what his oppressor will never do for him. So simple as that. That we need to, you know, I mean, out of that, actually, I didn't even know, like when I read it the first time, I was so young, but to think about that, that's AfroEconomics. For us to develop the power within ourselves, to do for ourselves, because it's never going to be done for us. The best thing that we can do for
America is stay as a servant, you know what I'm saying, to an employer. And the best thing that you can do for your later generations is to struggle and sacrifice now so that they can start their life with more than what you have. So you have to, I don't, if you, even if you're working in a workplace and you're not going to ever have a business to pass on to them, you're going to have to make sure that you have some assets built up that will allow them to start their life better than you did. You know, and a lot of that could just be simply making sure that we have a good name.
Mhm.
He also
Amen.
he had a program called Failure to Make a Living. And in his Failure to Make a Living chapter, he highlights that a lot of the problems that Black people who attend college face when presented with how to apply what they learned in college to the working world, you know, they don't know how to apply it, or more specifically, know nothing about owning or operating a business. And we think that that's okay. So they're going into orderless debt, you know, and they're just going in to be someone debted, like in debt. You're in debt to go into just work. We have to have a better plan. What you gonna own? Like what you gonna own? And that's why I say, like, you have to be putting something in that 401k if you're not building a business for yourself. You know, you have to be doing that. You know, because you can build a business for yourself and you'll never have to worry about retiring. That business will feed you to the time you take your last breath. You build a business. But if you go work for somebody, the business is not, you cannot, then when they're ready to get rid of you, they're ready to get rid of you. You cannot afford to not save because they're taking the best of your life.
JB,
Yes.
one of my clients probably 25 years ago, she went to a HBCU and she studied, I think, business administration. And we were talking about, you know, like me owning my business. And she said that she had finished school, but she said that in college, she learned how to work in someone else's business. She never learned how to operate her own business, which is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when they have a business administration degree, it's not about administering your own business. You know, it's about working for a business owner. That's it. You're learning to work for a business owner. But we, you know, because of not having appreciation for our own, you know, it is amazing to me. I was saying with someone, they were announcing about a financial service firm in the Virginia area had closed down the entire office, and all these people were losing their jobs. And I said, now all of them wondering about, like, what do I do? What do I do? Not one of those people called my firm. Not one. Not one. And I can go to any miscellaneous firm downtown that does investments, and there are probably about 100 Black employees that have wanted to get their license to do what I do. And they begged them, could you please, master, let me take the test? I'm a smart nigga. They beg them. I'm smart. I was smart. I got 2 degrees. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, they begged them. When they brought me in as a stockbroker, and you know, and then I was from the outside. There were like at least 10 Black people, and that's 1995, that didn't like me because they brought me in to let me take that test. And I had no idea that they were sitting there begging to do that. Begging and using that as an excuse to not advance their life, but not one of them has ever called me. Not one. And I could get anybody registered for any test. Isn't that true? That is just amazing to me. Amazing. But that's it. After 26, like, it'd be different if I was a couple years in business. She might be gone. You see what I'm saying? I get that. But 26 years, some people don't even work in corporate America 26 years.
They
26
probably
years,
think you're a myth. They don't think that that's real. They think you're a myth. They don't trust
you know what
that.
I'm saying? And so all they got to do is call the government. You can find out everything. Everything on me. So they don't, because they know how to check on me. They still like it's that is what has happened to us, that we will sit and wait for them to say yes. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going around and finding out another way. If I was working and I stayed where I first were hired, there's no way y'all would know me today. They would not be letting me talk about the miseducation of the Negro.
Exactly.
It just wouldn't happen. My boss would be like, nah, we can't do that. They don't have nothing to do with mutual funds. You just going out there, you sell that fund. You stay in your lane, girl. But that's, you know what I mean? The truth of it. That is the truth of it. When we as a chapter, the educated Negro leaves the masses. The educated Negro leads the masses. The estrangement, he speaks, that many educated Black people have, even from the Black church, and the lack of support the Black church receives from the educated is a result. This is 1933. So according to Woodson, some of the things educated Black people are doing instead of supporting, the Black church, are switching to predominantly white churches or not attending church altogether. Carter G. Woodson emphasizes the importance of the Black church as the only institution that the race actually controls, and that's going away. And what are we using that control for? So they know since 1933 how important the Black church is. Why doesn't the Black church do more to help us? So that a professional education, he says, was discouraged. The discouragement of many Black people to, it said that some of the prime examples was, Woodson said that are how Black Americans are told that there are no job opportunities in particular fields, like what I'm in. I was told, like, you don't want to do that. And they are told that they are not fit for certain fields. Black people don't have no money. You can't do that. It's so true. And, this is years later, way after him. 60 years after him, I entered the scene. And Black people were discredited and ignored despite being well educated in a particular field. And then political education neglected. Political education being neglected. He speaks of examples where politicians wanted to make sure that the Constitution was shared in all schools. And this is a quote from the book. He said that the politicians turned it down because, quote, it would never do to have Negroes study the Constitution of the United States. Didn't want you to know the law. And then some Blacks were kept from learning about laws that govern their everyday life and the policies that were keeping them subservient. Are we still subservient?
Right.
No,
Right.
you're like many Black people that I meet are confused, outside of us. Like, our membership allows us to have a certain comfort of Black people who really want to progress, who really are honest with their white friends and their Black friends. Like, we are all the same regardless of who we see, because we're only speaking truth. That's it. Like, this is not made up. You know what I mean? And the sad
Amen.
sad part is, like, why are white people more comfortable talking about it? It's like, I did a Black history presentation the other day, and this white young lady, she was like, and she wasn't a young lady, like she was, my age. but she was talking about how her father came up from modest settings, but that she realized now. So that she said now, she didn't realize it before, but she said, I realize now that because he was white, he really was in a better position. Like she was basically saying, it's not fair to say like my father was, which at least she's enlightened on this. But a lot of Black people are not there. They do not understand that Black people, our population, has been discriminated against. Now she realizes her entitlement and her father's ability because of just being a certain complexion gave him opportunity. But the Black people that don't realize that the disadvantage of not having generational wealth and having your parents and grandparents, continue to have discrimination and not having the ability to build generational wealth because from your freedom, your land and your animals, everything was taken from you. And you can look at somebody wrong and be locked up and have to go to jail. I mean, imagine that. How many of our families, their granddad was walking down the street and looked at a white lady and was arrested because he looked her in the eye. And even if he didn't look her in the eye, but she was mad because he didn't, then he still could get arrested because she said he did. And we're dealing with that now.
Yep.
But they know. We got to wake up to it. And the loss of vision, Carter G. Woodson said, Woodson feels that the Black population of America has lost sight of a common goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He brings up on how he says it's our so-called democracy. We are accustomed to giving the majority of what we want, of giving the majority of what we want, rather than educate them to understand what is best for them. So we are accustomed to giving the majority, the white people, what they want, rather than educating them to understand what is best for them. We did not show the Negro how to overcome segregation, but we teach them how to accept it as a final and as just.
Yeah.
So it was still segregated.
We let them have control of everything, pretty much.
Everything.
But put everything in that. Put everything in their hands.
Even now, with the PPP loans and the unemployment, we're not saying, what type of businesses can we create? Where can we move forward? Our business, and then when they give you the money,
they can give us all the money we want. If we still,
and they still want you to pay taxes on it.
The overwhelming majority
still want the taxes. They're going to audit. They said they're going to audit randomly those PPP loans. So we got people out there that are going to go to jail for that. It's just, we're not getting it. Just because a noose is hung, we do not need to put our head in it. We can make it through this together, but we have to have that common vision.
And we have to trust one another. We have to trust one another, and we have to be trusted.
Have to. Check it out, 1933, remember? This is written, but he said even then, there's a need for service. A need for service rather than leadership. So he's saying that since everybody wanted to be the leader, and nobody wanted to serve, that it broke up the Black unity.
Yeah.
And then, and as that happened, the educated Negro continued to leave the group of Black people to separate. And it broke up the community. But it is sad. It is sad. Wow. And then look. Divide and conquer. Especially if you pull out the brightest among you. If you pull out, that's how historically Black colleges really, messed up, because when our best athletes, for example, and our smartest students started going to other schools, you know what I'm saying? They should not have let it happen. It should have been, we should have been aggressively recruiting, you know what I mean, them for the same way. But in reality, what our schools did is that my friends, when I was in college, it was about apartheid. So my friends that were going to historically Black colleges did not understand at all about being in shanties and fighting against and trying to free Nelson Mandela and all of this stuff that we were doing. They had no idea. So actually going to a predominantly white college increased my Black consciousness, because there were things going on that I had no idea about as I was going to a predominantly Black school, because we kind of like stay in this shell of an environment and we forget that that there are a lot of Black people in very challenging situations. I mean, and we fought hard to divest University of Virginia out of any company, out of their pensions and everything, of anything that was in South Africa. And we did it, and they pulled it out. They were like, these Negroes are going crazy. And we did. And we did not let up.
And how come you think when you went to UVA, how come you think the Blacks there were more enlightened than the Blacks at HBCU?
I think that maybe they were just, we could not take our Blackness for granted because we were stepped over.
Gotcha. That's what I was wondering, if that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Probably,
so you were more conscious. Yeah.
Yes.
You probably looked at it like, they ain't gonna let these white folks know more about my history than me.
Than myself. Exactly.
Go forth with it too.
Exactly. You really did. And you just realize that, just things that would happen, on campus or off campus, and, you find it for Black students, and, also even down to the point where it enlightened me on, like, they didn't have any evening classes. So people that worked there really didn't have an opportunity to go to school. So since I had like 2 or 3 jobs, I was working with the Black people from the community in the cafeteria or in the cafe, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like, I didn't feel that it was fair, like that they didn't have a chance to go to school. Like, because that if you're in school that's in a community, you should have some sort of program that is serving the community.
Right.
And you almost have to, if you don't, then you have to see that as you don't want these Black people coming here.
JB,
Yes.
I feel some type of way about, like, I know what you all were doing at UVA and standing against apartheid, but my issue is I cannot look across the water when I see all of these atrocities happening right here. And I can't focus on what's going on in South Africa because we still have so much unfinished business right here in the United States. So I understand what you all were doing, but it is such a shame that UVA would take a position. They would, definitely, break connections with companies and whatever, but yet for the Black person and trying to bring the Black person up in America, they still weren't doing that. But they would go to South Africa and they
didn't do anything for them.
Well, right, they didn't do anything, but
our only point was that American corporations should not benefit from that oppression. Now, if there was also a corporation, because of the unity that we had at that point, if there was a corporation that had done that to Black people here, you know what I'm saying, then definitely. But what it was a call from South Africa to ask us as Americans, but only certain people listen though. But you know what I mean? I know I was reading an article about Duke University, and I didn't know that they did the same movement. So it was probably schools that had these great, big, huge pensions. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they were like, can you know what I mean, hurt them? I mean, and it had a lot to do with, like we say, oh, well, Nelson Mandela did it, but it really, they didn't have any choice when you have all these corporations saying,
Pulling
you know
out.
what, we're pulling out.
Yeah.
We're pulling out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then that's how, you know what I'm saying? That
That's how you
really,
break
the economics.
Yep.
Like
So do we
Carter-
have anybody we can call to help
That's
us
right.
here?
That's right. Well, my thing here is
your money.
I would like us to do a movement, but we would have to agree on this, that everybody in America deserves a livable wage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to be united on that, because Biden is saying that he wants to wait until 2025 to give that $15 federal minimum wage that he promised. And there are many millions of Black families that cannot afford to do that. That's right, Ms. Davis, when he kept that thing going. Boy.
Yeah, can we call somebody in another country and tell them to come over here and help us? And if not, they're going to pull out whatever they have here in America.
We would have
Do the opposite of what we did.
We have to
Who we
use
gonna call but China? Only people we can call is China. China own everything over here. You know, we only have to make one call. But you know, the thing is, you know, that, well, that's a movement that we all as Black people, but we first have to agree on.
Yeah.
Because there's many Black people who actually believe that corporate America's lie, that if they had to pay everybody a livable wage, then they would go out of business or they wouldn't be, you know, profitable. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? If you can't operate your company effectively without people starving, you know, people are like starving.
Yeah.
We have people with 3-4 kids, family of 4, living off less than $15 an hour. You know, women and men running from job to job, no benefits. You know, they're lucky that we're not asking.
Money.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They know they have to, you know, he knows that it needs to be done before 2025.
It needs to be held accountable. He said he
Yes.
was going to do this. He
Yes.
needs to be held accountable.
And I mean, and it's not okay.
People are having a hard time.
It's not okay. Like when transgender people wanted to go into the army, he didn't say, you know what, y'all wait till 2025.
No,
He did it. So why was it that hard? How was it that hard? Like, because this seems to me that's a lot more complicated. Because that's real complicated. And this ain't complicated. This is the federal minimum wage. This is it. That's a simple move.
I'm surprised at him. I truly am.
Disappointed. Don't be surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Continue to be disappointed.
Needs
one
to be
thing
held accountable.
Well, one thing that Carter G. Woodson talked about is that we really should not position ourselves with a political party, and this is in the book.
Right. Yeah.
That we cannot do that. And during his time, a lot of Black people were positioning themselves with the Republican Party because Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. But he was saying that, but that is still applicable today, that we have to have a common vision and put the vision for the Black community first. You know what I'm saying? But we have been so oppressed and programmed and lied to that we are allowing our needs to be kept down. You know, and that is, you know what I mean, ridiculous. Everybody's desire has to be met. You know, it's okay, but we're allowing it to not happen. And I can't do anything but respect a community who stands by what they believe in and they get it.
Exactly.
And they get it. So I'm not mad at other communities for getting what they desire. That don't take away from me. You know what I'm saying? Your freedom does not take away from my freedom.
But when Black people talk about it, they say, "What you talking about, Willis?" They're not listening.
That's so true. That's true. They don't,
mm.
they can't imagine.
Exactly.
Because
Oh,
we don't
that's sad.
have a black first philosophy. We
Yeah,
refuse to talk blackness. Nothing
yeah,
comes before your
yeah,
blackness, not your gender, certainly
yeah,
not your sexuality,
yeah,
Yeah,
not your
yeah,
religion.
yeah,
Blackness is first and foremost.
yeah,
And
Yes.
that's what we
yeah,
must advocate for.
yeah,
Don't
And
let
you
yeah,
nothing separate
yeah,
us from
yeah,
blackness.
yeah.
and I don't think you all know how
So that we can
therapeutic it
see.
is for us to get
Yeah,
together and have these
yeah,
I
conversations
know
with
it.
like-minded individuals. Oh my
Yeah,
yeah,
God.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that when you hear that, that does not mean that you don't want to look out for women's rights, or you
Right.
don't want to look
right,
out for, you know what I mean,
right.
any group of people that are oppressed. But you're just saying that when we choose to only think about my white rights as a woman, people forget too quickly about you're also black.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's what I told the women when I was hired as a broker. And then, we'd have our women's meeting and they were like, da, 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 and they were like, what do you think? I said, I honestly never have thought about being a woman because I'm always thinking about being black. And they were like, they were
Isn't
like,
that
well,
something?
they were
Yeah,
Wow.
like, well,
that's a big
and I
statement.
was in my 20s, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And they were like, well,
Wow.
welcome to the real world because you about to get banged both ways.
Well,
And,
women's right, that's good. But
mhm,
that's white women and they little beef
mhm,
with they white man. See, we don't
mhm.
have no beef with our brothers. And
Yeah,
see, we need to
no, we
stop
shouldn't.
allowing them to say that. We love
That's
our
right.
brothers and we're
That's
gonna
right.
support our brothers.
That's
We
right.
are our agenda is for our people. Our people are
That's
black
right.
men, black women, and black children. And
That's
don't
right.
let nothing divide us. Because just
That's
like
right.
when Ice-T came out with, regardless if you say he was right or wrong, I don't
Mm,
care about that. But my point is, he was talking about for black folks. And I hear
that's
people say,
right.
well, how about black women? He said black people. Black
Mhm,
people
mhm.
includes black women. Damn,
Exactly.
y'all want somebody
Exactly.
to have something separate
Exactly.
for black women? That's
Exactly.
how they
Exactly.
divide us and they
Exactly.
conquer us with that.
Exactly. But I
Mm,
feel like that the desire for the Black community to take it to the next level is the best thing that we could do in contributing to American society.
mhm,
No, so I don't think that anything that we want for our Black community is at the detriment of our white community.
mhm.
Because the better we do, the better we all do.
Right.
And that is of true. Now that has not been the system of the American, economy because they have underestimated the ability of the Black community.
Mhm.
So we have bought into that. But we have a responsibility to let them know that whatever you thought I was, I'm not, and I can bring more to this table.
Mhm.
We can bring so much more to this table. And I feel that if we turn that around like that, it's just been it's just a lie that has been spread that we, are not the powerful, knowledgeable, wise people that we are. And a lot of it has to do because we were brought here in shackles.
Yeah.
So how do you change that? You got, we're sitting here now, we're all called minorities, but the other minorities came here walking, looking for a better life.
Mhm.
We came here and was sold, and raped and, and just used. Kids and families broken apart. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible if you think about it.
Mhm.
So how do you change, that in the DNA of the people who did it, in the people who received it? Is the only way is that we're going to have to make a commitment to our excellence
Mhm.
and to have compassion from the stereotype that they may have in their mind, but I refuse to live up to anybody's doubt of me.
That's right, JB.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We have to make that commitment.
That's
That,
right.
you know what I'm saying? That their concern is our concern. Oh, you're concerned about the environment, so are we. So you're concerned about, everybody's, right to be themselves, so are we. We're concerned, we do, and we have to start
Yeah.
seeing ourselves as such. You're concerned, about you know, that you're not being paid enough, so are we. And then you start seeing yourself as a change maker and as a real community and as a service to this country
And as a human being.
and as a human being,
Mhm.
that we're part of something bigger than us. We built this country. We built this country. You know, stop allowing them to talk about like descendants of slaves like we're immigrants. We're not immigrants.
I know it, right.
This is all we know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? But this is my country.
I don't forgive them. I don't
I
forgive
forgive them. I forgive them.
until they give me my
they dead and
reparation
gone.
like they gave
Yeah, that's
everybody
right.
else. I might forgive them.
But you know why it's easier for me to forgive them? Because I don't work for them. I work for you. So because I work for you, I don't see them as my oppressor, my payer. You don't bring my food. You know what I'm saying? I don't see. So it's like, I forgive you because I know you couldn't have functioned and you couldn't have done it. But I pay the people that work for me and they dead and gone. Whoever that did that, and raped my ancestors, they're dead. They're gone. You know what I'm saying? We can't change it.
They
Nobody-
physically gone, but the philosophy is still
It's
here.
yeah.
It's robbing
Thank
them,
you.
though.
That's the problem that we
Thank
are
you.
living in. The
But don't let it.
philosophy is
But
still
don't let
here.
it rob you. Don't let it rob you.
But
No,
it's still here, and we have to deal with it, and we
But
have to find tools
you
on how
don't.
to deal with it and chip away at it.
Yeah.
But the best philosophy, in my opinion, is to become an independent being. And if there's any aspect of your life that is not building you up, get rid of it. And I remember when I used to walk in corporate America and I was like surrounded by a whole bunch of white guys, and very few of them really liked me. And they'd be nice and speak some days, and most days they wouldn't, And I remember one day I was getting like a desk promotion. You know how they play. So the guys got mad and they dumped all my stuff off my desk. I mean, they took everything because I wasn't moving fast enough. I was out working. They were all sitting in there. So they moved all my stuff, dumped it all over there. And I knew I gotta go. I can't do this. I can't do this. But so many people, they take it. So that it puts like a bitterness in your heart if you take it. If you take it, you get comfortable with it, and you allow them, what I'm saying, they will get your mind, what I'm saying, unless you are. But when I see it, like, we cannot allow
JB, it was
them.
nothing not to like
Yeah.
about you. They were either intimidated or jealous because there's nothing not to like about you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
They were threatened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
I
word.
was-
They were
Very
threatened.
much so.
Yes.
I mean,
What's
they
a better
didn't even,
word? Threatened.
Yeah, they didn't even like try to neatly. And then, I was ticked, and then everybody scattered. And then my boss comes out and he says, "Oh, is everything all right?" It's like, yes. I was like, but do you see this mess that they made just because you moved me over here? It was supposed to be like because I had graduated. It was probably just because two guys wanted to sit next to each other and they're like, move her. You just never know.
Because they could.
But they
Mhm.
tried to,
The
position it.
truth is, they didn't want you there.
Yes. They
Exactly.
want me on.
My
They want me on.
girlfriend, my friend worked for CBS, NBC. She made the news happen. She was probably one of the only Black women there, and those white men didn't want her there. All those
Yeah.
old white men did
Yeah,
not
they
want
were
her
just,
there.
yo.
They
They were
did
like,
not want her there.
they wanted to be
And
able
they
to
didn't want
freely
you
talk.
there.
Yo, they were like, we could talk freer if she wasn't here.
Exactly.
Because
Mhm.
They
we
didn't
can
want you
say-
there.
we can say whatever we want. And I was the only girl, and there was like about 50 men. You know what I'm saying? They put me next, here, like almost next to like, maybe she's a secretary. So I remember this old white man.
But
he
they
come
wanted
to
you
me,
to be a secretary.
and this old white man, he came up to me and said, "Could you type this?" And I said, I started laughing. It was like, why? I was like, "Sir, I'm a broker." He's like, oh. He starts walking on. You know what I'm saying? He knew. I'm like, I've been here. You know what I'm saying? Can I take this? Yeah, I should have taken it from him and ripped it up. Yeah, let me type it. I'm not looking for it. Did you type that? Oh yeah, it's something down the bottom of that trash can. So, but Ms. Davis, I'm just saying like that when I would go in there every day, all I could think about was being Black. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like the only Black, like it is like really hard. I've gone through all that in undergrad and all this. I was like, when I started, even though I'm in AfroEconomics, I don't think it's about discrimination. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have to think about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? All I live is for your empowerment and how to serve you more effectively. But I'm telling you, if I had positioned my business differently, I bet I would be discriminated against every day, like personally. Click, don't call my house no more, Black girl. Click, like, but I don't, I don't. So, I feel like we should, focus on getting ourselves into a position that you can work with and create your future with people that you want to be around and you want to
Amen.
serve. And you want to serve.
Amen.
You really deserve it. You really
Yes.
deserve it.
It's
And
such a freeing
I'm not
experience.
saying it don't take a sacrifice because it really
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
It really does. It really does.
Yes.
And definitely
Yeah.
not judging because we don't know people's experience and their paths. You know what I mean? So
Amen. 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 But I'm telling you, I don't really have a good tolerance thing. Like I'm like, I had zero tolerance before it was like something they talked about. Like I just don't do well with nonsense. I like my mind to be like clear and to be focused on all that's good. I believe that it kills us. It kills us. They have diseases that are connected to the they say that prostate cancer for our Black men is connected to all of this discrimination and racism that they've been subjected to. And I saw that in some research by Chinese people. It was a Chinese medicine article. That we definitely, how you doing, Sherry? That we definitely need to keep ourselves. Would you agree, Mr. Bozeman? We have to keep ourselves in a healthy environment. I know you spent a long time in corporate America, but I bet if you could have some of your time back, you would take it.
Yeah, but we suffer from the highest level of stress diseases because we are under continuous stress in dealing with an oppressive society.
Yes. Because they're looking at you from a stereotype of something, that's not true. It is their problem. And I love this book this man wrote, and it's called The Four Agreements. And one of them is don't.
Oh, I've read that.
Ruiz.
And he said, don't take anything personal.
Yeah.
He said, if someone comes up to you or punch you, like shoot you in the head, it's not personal. And I really encourage that woman. Yeah, it's something they're dealing with. I tell my daughter that too. Even though it's really hard for us not to do that, but we have to realize that it is their issue. And that's the way I feel that we have to approach white racism.
I'm sorry.
We've survived it. We have survived it. And if we allow them to continue to oppress us, that's up to us. Because we know the solution. We need to get yourself into a safe environment that loves you, that appreciates you, that recognizes you, that you don't have to compromise any part about you for. AfroEconomics, if David said we got to put the Black first, well then Black is a whole lot. It comes in a whole lot of colors and it comes in a whole lot of lifestyles.
Yeah.
And we have to be about appreciating that, and then knowing that this is our safe place. We need to build this into a consumer advocacy, a Black consumer advocacy group. That we're looking out.
Yeah.
Write me so I can put a letter on letterhead that was wrong, that we at AfroEconomics do not support that type of behavior. It needs to be acknowledged. We don't have anything like that. When there's and they steal money from one of us. We need to have a consumer advocacy group that gets them. During the last recession in 2008, 2009, again, that we're going to Congress. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to invite us.
Yes.
That there's no way that our community should have got checks. And none of us, nobody, the Black community is still struggling from recovering from foreclosures during that time of those banks that got money.
Yes.
For what hurt us. And then they come out with government sponsored articles about how we're on the road to zero wealth. So we're on the road to it, but you know that you contributed to it, right, government? You allowed them to do this.
Yes, that's true.
And they still took the homes. So no, it is, I want us to just feel that we don't have to worry about them. We need to make sure we focus inside. And Carter G. Woodson talks about that. Basically, he said, let's focus on our inner ability to, learn our history, know what we're made of, get our knowledge, encourage our professionals, and lawyers in our community, getting in those professions to only focus on money. Only focusing on money. Most people that are in financial services, they're only focusing on money. That's how they recruit us. That's how they recruit us. So if I was only focusing on money, I was talking to a client. I remember when, Mike and I first started dating, and I said, are you sure you want, you want me? Because it's such a challenge. Movement, a movement, you have to sacrifice. It's not about money. This has to be about service. And it was like, yes. But I know he is amazed every day at the, at the requirement it takes to stay accountable to us.
Right.
Amen, right?
Service is a 24-hour business.
For an hour. It's an hour. Of people that have been oppressed, it makes it even more important that I keep my word. That's what hurts me. When I feel like anyway, that I've added, and stops me from having that beautiful balance that people talk about. But it can you imagine that though? Because I know how much we've been hurt. Because I got into advisors talking about having lunch and making moves on me than talking about my financial future. And I said, I'm gonna have to do this myself. This is ridiculous. One more person asked me out for some damn, I just want to buy a mutual fund. That was crazy. That was crazy. No, we cannot meet for lunch. Good God. That doesn't work. This is crazy. These knuckleheads doing this, I can do this. No, thank God for God. But but I just, want us to know that if we think like that, it's going to be like nothing that Carter G. Woodson is saying is easy. And it's not easy for people to go to med school and law school and all spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on loans and, and then, think, oh, I'm supposed to help somebody. Mine, because that's how they're taught. Get yours. But yes, if I can set up a situation where we have a trustworthy lawyer and that we have that type of system in AfroEconomics, we can change the lives of our people. But it is so hard for me to find people that will keep their word. So when they let you down, you come in to tell me, and I'm hurt. So it's hard. It's hard. We have to, what I'm saying? Our problems are not white people problems. Our problems are our household problems.
That's right.
As long as we do right by each other, we gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
But we
Yes.
gotta do right.
Mhm.
We gotta do right? Exactly.
Yes.
It's not-
Yes.
it's- ooh.
We have to
I
be
know where
taught how to do right. We have to be taught. We just
they
assume
know
people
better.
know how.
But this,
No, people don't. A lot of times
yeah,
people don't.
what, somebody needs to take them out back. That's what we need.
And that
We need to
might
go
be
old.
true too.
We need to go old school on them. We need that look. We need those people in
You're
our
right
group
about
too.
that, sis. You are absolutely right. We might need to go old school on these folks. Because they act like they don't know what they
So what we
doing.
gonna do is we gonna take Kenny. Look, Kenneth and Michael gonna take you out back, and y'all just gonna talk for a little bit
Uh-huh. And they'll come back. They'll come back
about
right.
about why you took Miss Jones' money. Exactly. And what were you thinking when you
That's
didn't put that carpet in? What were you thinking? But like that is a serious problem with Black seniors. People coming, taking their money, and not coming to finish the work.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
But that's how this country is. They don't have no
Oh.
respect for the elders, our
Oh.
seniors.
Yeah, that's sick.
No, this country does not have no respect
Yeah.
for them.
But we know better. We was, you know what I mean? We were taught better. Like that, you know, like this one young Black man told me, I said he was getting this loan, but he didn't qualify for it, you know? And I said, like, why'd you do that? Like, it's not for you. And he said, well, that's what they do. And I said, man, you gotta learn real quick. We can't do what they do. You know what I'm saying? You better follow somebody that's doing right. You know, he was, you know, never call me again. But I don't want, you know me, we don't need that.
No, we
We don't
don't.
need that. If you think, you know what I'm saying, you think I'm gonna try to teach you, you know what I'm saying? Like last night, Michael was doing push-ups. He did 20 of them, and he looked at me and I said, your face didn't hit the floor.
That's good.
Like, oh, shut up. Just shut up. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, your face ain't supposed to hit the floor.
Yes, it is. I want your
JB.
nose on the floor. I put my nose on the floor. I'll show you 20. I'll show you 20
Seen
with
yours
nose
on the floor.
on the floor.
I never
Nose
seen
on the
your
floor.
nose on the floor.
I do. Yes, I do.
JB, they have longer arms than we do.
Oh, is that it?
Thank you, baby.
No, he got like them like short arms. I'm just joking.
You're gonna get in trouble.
She hating on me.
I know. He like, thank you, baby. A girl. And then you meet him, you like, dang, that's what JD says.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
That was funny. Exactly. That's
my
what
God.
it is. They're long arms. I think I have rather long arms. Don't y'all think so? I mean, think about it. Like
Now,
see?
JB, you did say you were getting married, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Hey.
that's right.
All right,
I
now.
know. To the short arm man. To the short arm.
Okay.
Y'all are bad. Y'all is bad. My man has long arms. I just want you to know. I'm just joking.
Oh,
I was just joking.
I'm not touching that.
I come blurting it out, right? He gonna come in here soon. Get off, just get off, shut up. I love y'all so much. Well, next time y'all see me, I'll be married woman.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm married
Thank
now.
you. Thank you. I'm married now, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Y'all better refer to me as Mrs. JB Bryan Robinson. Thank you so much. Thank
Well,
you so much.
congratulations, JB
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
Mike.
Congratulations.
Hey,
Y'all have
Congratulations.
fun.
Thank
Yeah.
y'all.
Make
Yeah,
it
You gotta come
fun.
back and say, I'm married now.
Miss
Blessings
Davis,
to you,
I'm gonna be,
JB.
I'm
Blessings.
like, thank you so much. I'm gonna be hearing that color purple line forever. Right?
Congrats, Jay.
Congratulations, JB.
All right.